Okay. Because this is we are come to the middle of the Bhagavad Gita. So we should be more clear on that concept before we go to the thing. Okay. So let us, okay. So we were in the chapter 9, that was Rajaguhya Yoga, the most confidential knowledge. Okay. So, and let us, before I start, let me pay my obeisance to our Sri Radha Govinda. Ajnana Om Ajnana Timirandasya Nanaka Shalakaya Chakshulmetam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Ena Bhotale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Guru Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Pada Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavcha Sri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadotam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sri Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Om Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Deshatarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So what we were doing, we were looking at Bhakti Yoga chapter section of Bhagavad Gita. It was all Bhakti Yoga, and we just do a little recap on chapters 7 to 9, because it's all like on the related 1 to 2. Like in Jnana Vijnana Yoga, he started out Krishna talking about himself, and he said we need to fix our mind on him, and he is the source of everything. He is the material world he creates. He is inferior energy, superior energy, and then he talked about how to surrender to Krishna and who surrenders and not surrenders. There we mentioned about demigod worship and impersonalist. Okay, and then in the next chapter, what he did again, he stressed on how to remember him at the time of death. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktya kaleva. He was telling how to remember, and then he said Ananya Bhaktas are the ones who can attain Sukhi because they're all the time remember him. And then in this chapter, it was Raja Guhya, most confidential knowledge, practice of Ananya Bhakti, and how he is partial to Ananya Bhaktas. So this was how we did. But what we like to point out was this. There is it's difficult for us, being in India, about this demigod worship, because right from the childhood, we have this, we go to temples and we have all the devatas, deities are there, and we do the worship of every deity. Okay, we have been doing right from the young age, even thing. And that's one point. Another thing is to remember Krishna at the time of death, and he talked about pure bhakti. So now these are things. So here, for that to understand, he says we should not be envious and we should have faith. Only if you have faith, we can understand this transcendental knowledge. And then there was this thing, spiritual world and material world, which we need to focus on a little bit more, because I thought, once we understand this, then the coming chapters will be easy to follow, right? So what did he say? He said, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this secret wisdom. Why is he giving? It's because that will relieve us from miseries of material. So that is our goal of life. That is, we need to come out of this cycle of birth and death. And those who are not faithful on the path of devotionals cannot attain me. So he said, so non-envious, envious and faith. And these were the confidential why thing. I thought I'll just tell you once more. Confidential was the first in chapter 2 and 3. We saw how we are a spirit soul and not the body. So we got the thing, who I am. You am I. We are the soul. What is our real identity? So because we are attached to this body, we are attached to this material world. We are in this, caught in this Maya, illusionary energy. And the most confidential was knowledge on the Lord, his energies and Krishna conscious. How we saw in chapter 7 and 8, to remembering Krishna. And you have to can even see Krishna in the creation he has made, no, through the sunlight and taste of water and all we talked about. Then most confidential here, he talks about pure bhakti and he portrays that. That is, now we know from where we have come. We have come from the spiritual world, right? And now we have to go back to him. How to go back to him is what was talked here. So these were the conscious things. So what is a relation with the material, Krishna's relation? So this is what I would like to talk about here, because this is the Mahatattva. It is given in the purport. Krishna is the original cause of the material manifestation. All the activities of material world are directed by three Vishnus. They are the plenary expansions of Lord Krishna. That means he expands himself. So it's the same, whatever Krishna has, the same energy and same thing is there in Mahavishnu, Garbhadaksha Vishnu and Shirodaksha Vishnu. So what does Mahavishnu first do? He creates the total material energy known as Mahatattva. And Garbhadaksha Vishnu will enter into all the universe to create diversities in each of them. And Shirodaksha Vishnu is diffused as the all-pervading super soul in all the universe and is known as Paramatma. He is present even within the atoms. Okay. So how this comes, I will show you in the Goloka chart. So that will, I'll just end here because let me come to the Goloka chart. Yeah. So this is what, I have shared this PDF to you all. So you can see here. So this is the abode of the Krishna. Okay. Krishna Loka is here. And this is all was this they have derived and this they have drawn. And the bases are given here. Brahma Samhita and other Puranas they have taken. And this was done by ISKCON Malyalam. Okay, not sorry, ISKCON Salem. Okay, this is the Krishna's Loka. And below that is the Vaikunthas, where all the Vishnus and things are about, and a lot of Vaikunthas are there. And then we have, and here also you have Ayodhya, where Lord Rama is there. So all these expansions, all these incarnations are here with their lokas. And these are all spiritual world. And this is our Kannadaksha Vishnu, okay, who is creating this universe. Okay, let me expand on this. Because this is something which is not, it comes from Brahma Samhita. See, when he is breathing out from his pores of his skin, lot of universes are coming out. Okay, this is not, and our universe is this. Okay, so like that, these golden blobs are there, no? They keep coming out. He creates all that material energy and everything. He goes on creating these pores come out. And in one of that, then it will be just a matter, material. But unless Garbhodakshina Vishnu enters into it, it doesn't get energized. Okay, so he enters into each of the universe, the Garbhodakshina Vishnu will enter. And then from his navel is the Brahma is created first. Then he is given the task to create other lokas, right? So once he comes, he energizes this and he creates Brahma Loka. And then Shirodakshina Vishnu is another expansion who will enter into all the atoms, into all the living entities and energize them. Okay, that's how this material world has, universe, cosmic manifestation takes place. And here we have the layers: earth, water, fire, air, ether, false ego, Mahatattva. So this is the how each layer is 10 times, and all these explanations are given in Srimad Bhagavatam 2nd canto. If you look in that, there are a lot of explanations are there in chapter 5. So in these 14 lokas, our loka is here, earth, right? We can even expand a bit so that you can see that. because you'll ask, no, that higher planets and lower planets. So I just wanted to talk about it. So here you have the Bhurloka is the abode of human beings and other mortals. And above that, topmost is the Satyaloka, is the abode of Lord Brahma. Then you have Tapoloka, that is for the four Kumaras. Sanat Kumaras, and their four Kumaras were the first sons of Brahma who didn't progenate. They went straight away for liberation. Then Janaloka is the abode of Prajapatis, from where a lot of other entities came. Then Mahaloka is the Brigumuni, that is, he is the sage of the thing, and Prajapatis are there. Then Swargaloka, that is the abode of demigods. Indra is there, Lord Indra. Then Bhuvarloka is the ghostly spirits, and Bhurloka is the abode of human beings. Below this is Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatalam, Hatala, Rasatala. So here you have abode of demons. Then where son of Maya, Danava, Bala is there. Here in this abode of in Vitala, Lord Shiva resides. And in Sutala is the abode of Bali Maharaj. But here Bali Maharaj, in that Lord Vamana will be there with him, along with him. Okay. And abode of demon is Maya, Danava. Then Nagas and Daityas. And the abode of Nagas. Okay. And below that is where Vasuki. And below this only is the Naraka Loka. Naraka Loka, 28 hills. Okay. These are the how the Brahma created all this. And then we have Dhruva Loka, is a pole star. Okay. And that is the abode of Shiradakshana Vishnu and this. So this is how, and all that is now is taken from, if you go through this PDF, no, you get all the references here, you know, from where they got and all the descriptions, you know, you can understand here about this. So you all can read that. And I think so. This is how what we say is the so we come back to our presentation. Okay. So this is what we Mahatattva it may understand philosophy. Here Shiradakshana Vishnu is diffused in all super soul and is known as Paramatma. Okay. He is present even with the atoms. And innumerable Brahmandas, universe come from the pores of the Lord's body. And you have in each one, there will be a Brahma, there will be Jaya, and this. But if without the living entities, this material nature has no value. Okay. Only when our living entities like us have come in, then only it has value. So the cosmic manifestation which is made of materialness has no power to act unless it is moved by the superior energy. That is this living entity. And one more thing is, we told that if you engaged all our whatever we have here, material energy, if it's engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord, this so-called material energy is also transformed to spiritual, just as an iron rod becomes fire when placed in contact with fire. So this is how, this is his relation with the, this is how he has created the material world. And whereas the spiritual world is like a material world is just like a reflection. Whereas the real world is the spiritual world. And it is eternal and there's no, you're free from birth and death and it's full of bliss, fulfills all your desires, is very attractive and manifest among eyes, and supreme destination is the place of no return. So we should go back to that spiritual world. So here Krishna is very much emphasized in text, 8.15 and saying, he says achieving. He through repetition emphasizes the fact that he does not want us to be bewildered by a desire to go to the heavenly planets. Because in every situation in the material world is miserable. Tasmat, therefore, we should desire only Mam Upeti, that is to achieve it. And that too, Krishna consciousness is a must. So this is what he clearly says, that we showed you, all the Satyaloka, Swarloka and all that. It's there everywhere. There is a cycle of birth and death. And again, after that, is. So what is Ananya Bhakti? He explained here in chapter 9. Mahatmas who are always under protection of his divine nature. So Daiva Bhakti they are, and they are engaged in devotional service. Okay. And what they do all the time, they'll be chanting, going down there with great determination. They are not deviated from their goal and they worship. And they know is the Supreme Lord is original and inexhaustible. They know that the source of everything. So here he says, I am father, we saw that. I am father, mother, desire, object of knowledge. So I'm also the Rig Veda, Sama Veda, and Yajurveda. So I keep coming and referring, we keep talking about the Vedic culture and the Vedas. So I thought now I'll just give a snapshot of what the Vedas have, So Vedas, there are two things. One is Shruti Pramana and Smriti Pramana. And Shruti Pramana is just, this is a flow chart, I got from one of our teachers. And there you have Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda. And each one has got a Samhita, Brahmanas, Aranyakas. What it means is there's a mantras. Samhitas means a mantras. And the explanations of mantras for rituals. This is required for the Brahmanas. And how do the explanation is for when you go to Vanaprasthas, no? So they have certain Aranyakas. There are certain post section for them and certain section for sannyas. They are used the Upanishads. So on each, everything is given. Details, pronunciation, Vyakarana, Nirutta, how do you do Jyotisha and all that. And above the Vedas, you have Upaveda, that is Dhanur Veda to military education. Then you have Ayurveda for the medicines. Then you have this one also, Jataka, that is astrology, and so many others. Then Vedangas. Then apart from that, you have Smriti, where it connects to the Kalpa Vedas. So many sutras are there, Dharma Sutra, and then you have Manu Samhita here, Dharma Shastras. Then Tantras are the Agamas, where it was spoken by the Lord Shiva to Parvati, to Tamasic people, to Rajasic people, and to Sattvic people. That is Vaishnava Agamas, Pancharathas. Then you have Puranas. Actually, Puranas are also known as fifth Veda, apart from four Vedas. Then you have Itihas. Itihas is history. In Itihas, you have Mahabharata, Ramayana. And in Mahabharata is the most important, Bhagavad Gita is given. Then Saddarshana is also there. And also in Puranas, you have Bhagavata Purana, that is the Srimad Bhagavata, and 18 important Upa Puranas also are there. Vishnu Purana, then the Purana, so many Puranas are there. Okay. Then you have Shadashana, so many philosophies are there. Jaimini by Gautama, Kannada, Patanjali, and Atisha. So Vyasa. So when you see this Vedas, it is so exhaustive, so exhaustive. In fact, when Vyasadeva, he split it into four, Rija, Nedu, and Sama, so that it will be easy to understand, and he wrote it down. And in each of them, I think I missed out one more. Wait, I'll come out of attention. Okay. So in each Rig Veda, it has got 21 branches. Yajurveda is 100, Samaveda is 1,000, Artha Veda is 9. And each branch has got all these 4 sections. So like that, it is very exhaustive. And you saw the Veda, the Sutras, Puranas, Itihasas. And Mahapurana, that is Srimad Bhagavatam itself, is having 18,000 slokas and 10 cantos, Bhagavad Gita. So it is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, at least this is enough to read. That is Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, because in Kali Yuga, we don't have that much time to go through this entire Vedic literature, at least you have to spend your whole lifetime. And, and whether we have it in online, I don't know, some of it might be, but so it is very exhaustive. And you should know, and someone has to explain to you all, because it will be mostly in Sanskrit, and to understand is very difficult. So we focus only on Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. That is for higher studies. But these two is most important for us to understand our philosophy and how to go about in life. So then that is one thing about Vedic thing. And there, we have the regulations and of worship. So people will now who get caught into that type of distorted by material desires, they surrender unto demigods. That's what the Krishna says, in the chapter 7. And they follow these particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. And these are given in the Vedics. That is what I showed you, Karma Kanda, Jnana. So they do that because they have some material desires, So they don't surrender to the Lord, but their surrender is misplaced. But he says, it doesn't matter if they have, because I'm in everyone's heart, I know their desires, but I make his faith steady too, because at least he will devote to some particular day, some God. Even if not to the Lord, at least he'll have some faith in that. But only thing what happens is, such faith, he will get some favors and desires, but they are given by me. It is given indirectly by me, because all other devatas all work under him. One Lord is there, and then you have others who are administrators. And so he addresses them as small intelligence, because they have worshipping the demigods. So here is where some conflict will come in our beliefs. We have been having a lot of throughout our life, we have come through our maybe 10, 20 years, we have been listening to our elders, and we have been doing puja part at home, and we have this thing. So then it take to understand, to assimilate this, it is not that easy. So, but only thing we can say is, just add this to your thing, and slowly when you start understanding more and more, then you'll have a picture, you'll get more and more clarity. So, but then he says, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. Those who worship demigods go to the planets of the demigods. So I showed you, those planets which you have. There you go. And how do you go? You will leave your gross body. You'll go along with your subtle body. And the soul will go to those demigods, to the higher planets or to the lower planets, whichever it is we are eligible to go, you'll be going. Okay? And you'll go only with your subtle body. And so what we think is, there are many ways to reach Lord. You pray to Shiva also, you go to the, you leave this, you leave this birth and death cycle, and you won't come back. That is not true. That's what he's been saying in chapter 9. So those who study Vedas and drink so much juice, seeking heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. They take birth on that planet of Indra, where they can enjoy godly delights. Okay, but when they have thus enjoyed heavenly sense pleasure, they return to this mortal planet again. Only from here only you can get liberation, not from the other planets. Okay, so you will be coming and going like a wheel. So you are not coming, not getting out of this cycle of birth and death. So he says, that's why he says we have less intelligence. People with less intelligence will be caught in that. And also he talked, that we go to only only when it is offered with true understanding. That is, he says it is avidhi purvaka. So in that, Prabhupada says there are many, if you place so many competitors for the Supreme Lord, that is known as avidhi purvaka, because we have so many. So that is illegal. Nobody can be competitor to the Supreme Lord. There has to be one Supreme Lord, and he is known as Asama Urdhva. That is, nobody is greater than him, nobody is equal to him. So he is the Supreme Lord, and we call him as Lord Krishna, and it is also confirmed in the Shastras. So he says, and without true, because we are doing that without true understanding. And those, and also he says, we will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship ghost temples will take birth among beings. And then Pritra Loka is also there. We go to the ancestors and come back. Only when you worship me, we will live with me. That is, we'll go to the spiritual world, go to the Vaikunta or to the Goloka. That's how we do it. So this is what we need to understand. So I thought, these two things, which is always in a conflict to us, to what we have been thinking right from our birth, and how we have been nothing, and how it is been explained here by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. This is the most confidential part which is we have to understand for self-realization, not for anything else. First, if you are in the path of self-realization, then we need to understand this clearly. So there are not many ways to reach. There's only one way to reach him, and we have to focus on pure devotion. So yat karoshi yat adnashi yat jujvasi dattasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya kusham adha. Sanati, that all you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as the austerities that you may perform, should be done as an offering to me. So this is what he says. That means you have to, throughout the day, throughout the thing, you have to think of you. And in every activity, we need to have a remembrance. So this can come only by practice. And he says, I envy no one, but nor am I partial to anyone. I'm equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend. So then he is very partial to these bhaktas. So he will give them all, whatever things, he will take care of them because they're all the time thinking, no? So that's how he reciprocates. So if we want to have to go back to the Goloka, we need to be in this Krishna consciousness. So enge manmana bhava bhakto madhyaji mam manaskarvo madhyevasyashi uttavaitam atmana mat paryanaha. So engage your mind always in thinking of me, offer obeisance and worship. Being completely absorbed in me, surely he will come to me. So this is how he reciprocates to all his devotees. He will personally reciprocate his devotees, bringing them close because he's always thinking of us. He wants all of us to go back to him because we're all his children. He said, no, he's our father, mother, and everything. And he's all the time thinking about how to get them back to my abode, because we are the ones who had revolted and we had that desire to lord over the material energy. So that's how this world was created for us, and we have come here. But our main goal is to go back to him. Otherwise, our soul will always be anchoring and it won't be happy. Natural thing. So our nature is to do the service to the Lord. Either now what we are doing, either we are serving the Lord or we are serving the Maya, that is sense gratification. So we need to have, this is the choice we have. And this is the direction and the recommendation he gives us. And this is what he desires, to be completely absorbed in him. Then he will surely come to me, he says. Surely. So that there's no doubt about it. Even when he says no, then only we'll be able to remember him at the final level. Okay, right? Otherwise, it's not that easy. And doing all this yogas, Ashtanga yoga and all that is very difficult. And it's not, doing this pranayama and everything and focusing in this world when there's a lot of distractions, this is the easiest path, okay, for us. So what we saw was the confidential knowledge, then how he is related to the material world, and then how to approach him and things. So if we take up to this process of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Vishnu Smaranam is remembering him all the time. Kirtanam is what we saw, sitting, and Shravanam is chanting, and Pada Sevanam, that is we can go to the temple and Archanam and deity worship, Dasyam, Vandanam, we can do any of these services. So deity worship was recommended by the thing, but doing for the devatas, is the devata or the Krishna deities. So that is the choice we have. So you can add the deity now for the time for the beginners. When you are in the thing, we can, and slowly we will be able to understand what we are doing. And so then once you get the understanding, then you will be able to appreciate. It's not that we have to, should not show our respect to the devatas, because they are great devotees. If they are not devotees, they won't be given those posts to take care of the creation he has given. So only high devotees are the ones who have been given such responsibilities. So we need to respect them, we need to be obliged to them, but we should also be thinking that there is a Supreme Lord above all, above them, to whom these devatas are also reporting. So we have to do how to do the worship. And also this deity worship is good for us because we are in the body platform. We need some form, to focus on, to meditate on. So that is good. So this is something we need to reflect. I thought I just wanted to stress upon this because, if you don't, others coming chapters, will be more and more. And this should be clarified. And if you have any comments or anything to clarify, at least we should clarify it now. So our goal of life is to free from cycle of birth and death. Okay. And people who are Mahatmas, no, they don't mind where they are. If they're all the time thinking of the Lord, they will be in the spiritual platform all the time. So whether they are physically in the material world or any other locus, but if they're all the time thinking of the Lord and things, they're already in the spiritual platform. So for them is immaterial. And then that is, they are the ones who are Ananya Bhakti, they have pure Bhakti. They always remember Krishna. So, and it is very blissful, and they will always be engaging their senses with devotional service. And we say it is very simple, and God accepts only. We saw, no, Patram, Pushpam, Palam, Toyam. It just, that's enough. If you offer it with love and devotion, that's all is required to please Krishna and to worship him. And also I talked about these spiritual practices, no, being association of devotees is a must. Otherwise, no, it's easy to fall back to the old thinking and old prejudice, and we'll be falling back to the Maya, into this simulationary world. But if you be in the association, no, then you'll get more and more clarity on your philosophies and your understanding on life and everything. So then it is, and then you will be able to read the books and the Shastras and the scriptures. These are the scriptures which are legacy to us. So we can understand that. And chanting is the most important one. So that is one, if you start doing it, slowly our misgivings which we have, inside us, our desires, these things will slowly come out, and we'll be able to understand these scriptures much easier, and we'll be able to handle our life much better. And slowly we'll be able to develop the taste for, cultivate the taste for remembering the Lord and worshipping the Lord. So deity worship, and to eat when you're offering, we can offer food and take it as prasad, and we engaged in the work for the Lord. So if you take this ABCD practices, that will surely help us. So I'll just start this. Today is very short. Vancha kalpataru abhyascha, kripa sindhu abhyayevacha, patitam nam pavanebho, Vaishnavo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Let's stop sharing. So I would like to have your meditation, your views on this, because this is more important of your understanding. Otherwise, coming chapters, the others will be just going and going and going if you go on. But if you all have anything, I would like you all to share. Okay, because you all have been doing a lot of puja part at home, isn't it? So please share your views on this. I would like to have certain discussions on this. It would be nice, all of you partake in it. Hare Krishna. Yeah, Vedic script chart I will share with you. No problem. So that is a chart I have given. I taken it from one of us. Okay. Just like I shared the Goloka chart, no? So I will share that also. Then Krishna Kumar. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah, I would like you all to talk about this. Devatas, no, we do worship our thing, no? So, I mean, we are only asking you all to add this, but will it be difficult, or is it easy to understand? Hare Krishna. So, according to Gita, we should not worship, because by worshipping, then we can't get moksha. So yeah, moksha, we will get, by worshipping them, we'll go to their planets. It's not, we'll get the fruits and benefits, whatever they give. And that will be temporary, because our life, and again, once that punya is over, no, that thing, we'll come back to this Bhuloka again. Once that credit is over, we come back to this. So we'll be going, but if you want to get out of this birth death cycle, then you have to worship the Lord, worship the Supreme. Okay, so that is clearly told here in this chapter. So that is what I would like to emphasize. But we should respect them because these demigods, their devatas are very exalted devotees. Otherwise, they won't be given this portfolio, no. So they are the great devotees. We need to respect them. So that is there. And we have to oblige because they give us all facilities, rain, the sunshine, everything is going, which all we require to live in this world, in this super. So they give us all that. We are obliged to them and we need to think, but we should worship them with understanding there is a supreme above them. That's it. But we don't get moksha. That is to get liberated from this world, we don't get. We'll only go to their planets and again come back. In all these planets which you are shown, no, Swargaloka, Satyaloka, no, you go and you come back. So come back to this thing, to Bhuloka. Okay. No, we need not take sannyas. You can only thing is you have to do devotional service to the Lord. You don't have to take sannyas. See, it doesn't, here Krishna doesn't tell Arjuna to leave the battlefield and take sannyas. He tells him to do your duty because he is the Kshatriya and he has come here to fight and for the religious purpose to bring back there because there were a lot of injustices going on like by Duryodhana and so many people. So he says to bring back the religion, dharma, yeah, that was what the purpose of that battle, the Kurukshetra. So he has to do his duty. Same here, we have our own duties when we are here and we have to do our duties and still be in the Lord of absorbed in remembering Krishna in all our activities. That's what he says. You do it for me. You don't think about the results. You offer all the results to me. So that's the thing. So you don't have to take sannyas. That's not the renunciation. No, he says we don't need to take sannyas. Okay. So that is clearly told by Krishna every time. In all the chapters, and he's talking to Arjuna, he's clarifying that point. Okay. Yeah, I was going to share that with you. I was thinking, I didn't know if I wanted to get these points clarified. So from tomorrow onwards, I'll be adding those controlling mind techniques. Okay, I'll do that. How to control our mind techniques, mind control techniques given by our Prabhuji. I will share those PPT. There's a very long thing. So I will split it into three or four parts and share the thing with in each chapter. When I finish now, I do that. But these 2 points, I just wanted you all to be clear, that what is the Vedas, what we are talking, and how exhaustive the scriptures are. And it takes more than a lifetime to read all that to understand. And we need to understand by one who is very expert in it. We get the full clarifications. And then, so instead all that, if you just focus only on these 2 scriptures, Bhagavad Gita first and then the Bhagavatam, then you can understand. That is more than enough. That's what was recommended by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's why I showed you that what are the Vedas are and what it has. And this Goloka chart which was given, it is from Brahma Samhita. See, Brahma Samhita is a prayer offered by Lord Brahma. See, when Lord Brahma was created, he was alone. He was just opened it out. He was alone on the lotus flower and he doesn't know why he had come and what is his purpose. And he looks around, he goes down the stem, he doesn't see. And finally, he hears 2 words, tapa, tapa. Then he starts meditating. Whoever has created him, he meditated on the Lord for many, I think 1,000 years or so. And then he gets the darshan of the Lord, for the purpose. And then when he sees the Lord, he can see even the Goloka and all that. And that's how he prays. That is known as Brahma Samhita. Okay. And that prayer is very beautiful. Only one part of it, chapter 5, is only was able to recover, it was recovered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was on his tour in Kerala, somewhere in Kerala, in one of the temples, they were reciting this. So from there, he wrote it, copied it out, and we have that literature on us with us. So you can see it in the online also, it is there. You can always download that. So that Brahma Samhita gives a description of because you could see that Lord and the thing, and then that is a beautiful prayers he gives. So that is the source from where all this was been derived. Okay. And Srimad Bhagavatam also gives the description. And okay, Mataji, thank you, Rupesh. And Ritvik, you have any questions on this? Trupti Janbandhu, you never talk. Hare Krishna. You can unmute also. Or you're very shy. Rupesh, I think Ritvik, Hare Krishna.
No, Mataji, today's class was clear for me.
Okay, so according to the vision, no, so that. So these two things I would like to, that is why I just focused on this today. And Hare Krishna. Yes, Tripti, you can talk.
Hello, ma'am. I don't know that much. Thank you, ma'am. But I didn't know what I have to talk here. So
Okay.
I didn't talk anything.
Okay. I just want to know if you have understood, or you have any doubts, or if you have any comments or anything, you can add on to it. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, and that's why I asked you. So
Okay.
if you have understood, it's fine, it's nice. Or what did you think about Gita? Or it was something beyond your expectations? Okay. Hare Krishna.
Gita, I want to control my overthinking and take away irritation and anger from me.
Anger control and mind control. So I will be sharing to you also this mind control techniques I will give. So you can react on it. You can tell me your perceptions also. Okay, I will share that and how to go about it. Okay, because in everywhere
Okay.
Krishna is talking how to we have kama, krodha, madalo. That means we have to control our desires and our lust and anger and how it comes. So it is important to do that because it's in our life. And he points it out even in Bhagavad Gita. Those are the ones which are obstructions in our path into going back to the Lord. So how to control them, how they are the enemies for us. So I will do that. I will be sharing those techniques with you because that is the proper Prabhuji has given us. So we'll be sharing that with you people. Okay. But the only thing is in this chapter, till this chapter 9, tomorrow onwards, Arjuna will be surrendering to Krishna. So then it goes in a different directions. So that's why I just thought I will stop here and focus on these 2 points. And then you can, once you understand the beauty of the spiritual world, then we surely will be liking to go back there and not to be in this material world, which is full of dukkhalaya. So that's the thing. Okay. Thank you, Tana.
Mataji, you will be sharing the mind controlling PPT in the group?
Yes, ma. Yeah. Once I take it, I will put the PDF on it. Okay.
Okay, Mataji. Okay.
That also I will share that. Yeah, I have done it earlier for earlier batches also. So I'll do the same thing here. Okay.
Okay,
There will
Mataji.
be 3-4 parts. It is there. So depending on the chapters, which has got less, because in coming chapters I've got only 20 or 25 slokas, so they are short chapters. So then I can do it because I don't want to exceed beyond 8 o'clock. There'll be other classes. They'll share. They'll use the same link and all that. So I don't want to cross that time limit. Okay. Then Hare Krishna, if they have anything else, if not, I will. Because this group doesn't ask many questions. Whereas earlier batches I had, there were a lot of questions. Like, just see nothing is there. A lot of people used to ask me questions. That's why I don't know whether all have understood or not. That's the reason I keep asking you people. Okay.
No, Mataji, when you recite it, when you make us understand, so it remains totally clear.
Okay.
That is why we don't have any question.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Krishna Kumar. Okay. Okay, then we'll just close today fast. Then we'll come and meet tomorrow. And we'll be fresh on chapter 10. Thank you, Arshali Mataji. Thanks, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare